Welcome back to another episode of My Spoonie Sisters, and I'm your host, Gracefully Jen. Today, I am so thrilled about this one. I am here to welcome someone who brings expertise, empathy, and lived experience to the world of autoimmune wellness. This is Tanya Freirich. She is an RDN, CDCES. I don't know what all these mean, but you can tell me. So she's better known as the Lupus Dietitian. With more than 15 years experience in the nutrition field, Tanya has guided thousands toward healing through nutrition. What makes her work truly inspiring is that she's not just a dietitian. She's also navigated lupus herself for over 11 years and transformed her own health by overhauling her diet and her lifestyle, eventually eliminating flares altogether, which isn't that the goal, right? She brings a compassionate, whole body and inclusive approach, blending diet, self-care, stress, sleep, movement, joy, and honoring each person's unique background. I already know this episode is going to be full of hope, practical wisdom, and encouragement for all of us on our spoonie journeys. So hello, Tanya. How are you today?
I am so good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you. Obviously, we chat otherwise, but it's so wonderful to be able to answer your questions and get the word out about how wellness, diet, lifestyle, all can make a huge difference in how people feel.
Absolutely. And before we dive in, okay, so I read out all your credentials and they're wasted on me because I have no idea what they mean. But can you tell the listening community what all of that means?
Yes, for sure. So a lot of people get very confused between the term nutritionist and registered dietitian. And not many people know the difference unless you are a registered dietitian. So a nutritionist, unfortunately, doesn't really have a lot of rules of who can say that they're a nutritionist. So there are a lot of people that perhaps actually don't have much behind that name. Now, a registered dietitian is very regulated. So behind my name, the MS means I have a master's in science. So I went after my undergraduate to do more schooling in nutrition. And so I got a master's degree. Then my RDN means that I had to take a test. I had to do a year-long dietetic internship, kind of like medical school, but for a dietitian. And then I have to submit for licensure, continuing education, prove that I'm still not only doing a good job, but also staying up to date. And then during my career as a dietitian, I also really enjoyed helping people with diabetes and went for additional credentialing. It's certified diabetes care and education specialist. So I really focus on people with autoimmune disease, but diabetes is so prevalent. I got so many questions about it over the years that I really wanted to be able to provide that information as well.
Wow. Okay. So with all of this education background, who not better to talk to than you? Seriously.
I love learning. I love staying up to date, seeing all the new research, because if it's going to be helpful, hey, why not?
Yeah. And we got to meet in person a few months ago when we went to an event with the Rheumatology Research Foundation. And I'll tell you, it was like instantly when all of us got together and sat down, it was like we had all known each other forever. We had so much fun with all our shenanigans, and it was such a blast. And getting to know you and hearing about your background in your life, it was wonderful.
Thank you. It is amazing how much just having a shared experience of an autoimmune disease just fast forwards a friendship. We had so much in common, and there were so many moments that felt so validating when you hear it from someone else. Oh yeah, I've had that same experience.
So before we get diving into the questions, there's actually a couple questions I want to ask you before I forget. So what's next for you the rest of 2025 and for 2026? Are you planning to be at ACR? Do you have any big things coming up?
Yes, definitely. So there's an autoimmunity summit that I am doing in Dobbs Ferry, New York in September. So that's September 12th. I am also going to ACR in November. And the week of September 15th, I have my 3-month group program called the Lupus Breakthrough that I will be running. So this program is a fantastic way for me to be able to help people with lupus change their diet. It's a very structured program. Just as I said that I love education, I also really love being able to educate as many people as possible on the benefits of the diet and lifestyle changes for their lupus symptoms. And so I've created kind of like a class, a curriculum where people every week get a module. But we have our group calls. I add the one-on-one and a lot of accountability and support to make sure that people have it personalized to their life, but that we're all getting the best information so we can advocate for ourselves so that we can feel knowledgeable in our own diagnosis.
Wow, how exciting. Okay. Well, we need to make sure people know all about this. And so I'll try to include as much as I can in the show notes.
Definitely.
But let's get started all about you.
Sure.
Can you share a little bit of your personal journey, what led you to your lupus diagnosis, and how did that moment change your relationship with food and self-care? Or did that kind of take time?
Yes, definitely. So I'll start with my story. So my story with autoimmune disease started a very long time ago. In my early teens, I was first diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So basically, my immune system was attacking my thyroid. Also in my teens, I got another autoimmune diagnosis, ITP. So idiopathic thrombocytopenia. That means that my platelets were really low. Yes. I've also had my immune system attack my liver. I have also had a lot of other autoimmune kind of flare-ups and a new diagnosis throughout my teens and 20s. Now, lupus was my last diagnosis. It was in my late 20s. And at that point, I had already been working as a dietitian. So I felt as though, okay, all of these autoimmune things, I've got to do something about it. But at the point that I was diagnosed with lupus, I was having a lot of joint pain, a lot of flares, losing hair. My labs were really kind of a disaster. And I had been working out 5 days a week, socializing with my friends, working as a dietitian in a hospital with very long hours, and really been busy and not felt impeded by my autoimmune diagnoses. I felt, okay, they're controlled, no big deal. I can live my life. And I was feeling great. But then the lupus diagnosis and those flares that led, they were kind of all a cluster, that really changed from a very active life to kind of like a screeching halt.
Well, and as you're talking about all this, I'm going, okay, once again, autoimmune diseases like friends. You can't have just one.
No. Yes, they often beget more and more. Unfortunately, when your immune system is so activated, I feel like it's kind of like a lava field where the lava just like spurts out over here and then spurts out over here. It's like the inflammation just can't be kept down. So it's just coming out in different ways.
It's like once it's triggered, it's like a water bottle that gets punctured a million times. It's going to find its way to get out somehow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So getting started with diagnoses at such a young age, how did that affect like friendships and activities and all that kind of thing?
Sure. That's a great question. So I will say it was probably the reason why I decided to be a registered dietitian, because I learned very young, when I eat a little bit healthier, I feel better, because certainly for my thyroid, that affected my energy. I had been in and out of the hospital quite a lot throughout my teens and 20s, sometimes in the hospital for a month at a time while they were trying to figure out what was wrong with me. So I integrally knew, okay, I have to take care of myself. Otherwise, things go very badly, very quickly. And I also had noticed diet makes a difference in how I feel. So it definitely was something that turned me down the path of wellness, because I could see how quickly that can kind of fall apart. Now, in terms of my friendships, day to day, honestly, I did not want to make that the integral part of my identity, of conversations with people. So I would mention it as a as needed basis. Obviously, I had to tell my high school why I disappeared for a month. But beyond that, I really did not want to talk.
I don't blame you, because especially at that age, you have to worry what your friends are thinking. Are they thinking you're an attention seeker, that you're making things up? Because that's what teenagers sometimes do. That's what kids do. They accuse, they make assumptions. Because they don't get it.
Right. Exactly. So I did not look for understanding with other teenagers. I just focused on, I've got to keep my grades up. I played tennis at that point in high school and middle school. So I just wanted to live my life.
Yeah. Let's get through this. Let's live my life the best I can. Let's survive it.
Definitely. Because I realized so early, wow, food can be something that is a tool that can be helpful. I am 100% a foodie. I love trying new things, trying new restaurants, trying new cuisines. So I also very much enjoy food with my clients and with myself. I always say there is no such thing as being perfect. Please don't cut out like extreme food groups or make yourself into like a bit too controlling with your food. Like over restriction usually causes kind of a pendulum swing to forget it. This is too hard. I don't want to do it anymore. So my goal for myself and every client I work with is let's make manageable changes that you can maintain long term, because food can be a tool for you to help yourself feel better, but we don't want it to be kind of tiptoe over to, I have to control every single bite that I take, because that's not great for our mental health either.
I agree. From my personal experience, that it's hard to have the correct mindset when saying, oh, I need to lose some weight, or I just need to be eating better in general. I pick the same foods for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's all I'm going to eat. I get overwhelmed and I think, oh, well, I shouldn't eat this and I shouldn't eat this. And then I feel like I'm stopping with eating altogether. And that is even worse. And so what kind of advice would you give to a client that's like, I'm afraid to eat?
Yes. And I find that a lot of clients, that's when they find me, when they are so frustrated, so overwhelmed, because there's so much information out there. If you look on the internet, literally, you will find a million things that say, oh, this is good for lupus, this is good for lupus, or whatever the autoimmune disease is. Some of it's good information. Some of it is very not helpful information and not accurate. So people get so frustrated trying to follow a million different diets that they say, forget it. I just, what you said, forget it. I'm just not going to eat. And that obviously is not the answer. We need food and fuel to be well nourished and to feel well and reduce our inflammation. So that's where my guidance comes in of, okay, here is all the research. This is backing what I recommend, and then giving all this information about you personally. Here's the way that you can implement it in your life to see the best result.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that genetics have a lot to play with all that too, because, some people are just naturally thin people. It doesn't matter what they eat. And then there's some people where they might have to be more cautious because they even look at something and they put on some weight.
Well, a lot of people keep on extra weight because of the inflammation. Just like if you get a bug bite, you notice how it gets swollen and inflamed. That's kind of like your whole body when you're very inflamed. And so often that leads to weight gain, even if you're not changing anything about what you're eating. And when we reduce the inflammation, people notice sometimes that they're eating more, and extra weight that they had been carrying that wasn't normal for them comes down.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's actually something that I've been personally struggling with this entire summer. And we had my son's wedding last week. And
Congrats.
Thank you. And one of the things my mom did when she first saw me was she started feeling my arms and my hands. And then she was like looking at my feet, because my feet have all summer long, feet and ankles just keep swelling up. I'm having edema issues, and inflammation is skyrocketed right now. And they're trying to get everything under control.
Yeah, great.
But I don't think we talk enough about how your scale is going to start going up. And I'm just looking at myself, and I feel like I can see fluid everywhere in my body. I feel like I've turned into the marshmallow man full of fluid, but we don't talk about that enough.
Yeah, I think doctors don't really mention it. They'll take it in as, okay, thank you for letting me know that you're having this swelling. They check your labs. They make sure, okay, all right, is your kidney function working well? But unfortunately, a lot of medications can also cause some changes to our weight. And their concern is, of course, preventing organ damage, keeping us alive,
right,
keeping us well. And sometimes they take in the information, but aren't so informative of, oh yeah, this can be an indicator of your inflammation.
Yeah. And what I did find out from my rheumatologist is the anti-inflammatory prescription that they had me on is known to cause edema.
Well, that's not helpful.
And she told me, whenever you're flaring, I want you to take it, because I didn't want to take it every day. I'm not that kind of person. Who wants to live that way? We have to take enough pills, right? Mm-hmm. And so I would just take it as needed. We were about to go to Hawaii. I was starting to flare.
Oh.
I was taking it twice a day. And boom, it was like I suddenly had, on top of all the inflammation, all this edema now. And so then when I saw her, she said, okay, this one's known for that. Let's take you off of it. We're going to try you on another one.
Okay.
And I'm seeing some of it come down, but it's still there. And it's just frustrating. But we need to talk about it more. These are things that happen.
Definitely.
Is there, food-wise, anything that you would recommend to somebody going through that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, edema in particular. So the things that we can avoid that will help it not become worse, definitely be careful with your salt intake. Yeah. So for everyone out there, sodium can be very high in certain, let's say, sauces, processed foods like TV dinners, sauces being something like hot sauces, soy sauce, those can be very, very high sodium. Unfortunately, like convenience foods. So anything that's very unprocessed usually doesn't have very much sodium at all. But when you get into boxed foods, canned foods, frozen foods, unless it's just like something as simple as, oh, it's a bag of frozen broccoli and they haven't added any sauces, then the sodium kind of adds up pretty quickly. So being careful with sodium is a really great idea because that makes us retain more water. Hydrating yourself. I know that feels like, but I'm already carrying all this water. Why would I drink more? But it does help
We'll need it.
extra water. Yes. So it feels strange, perhaps, for somebody, but I promise staying extra hydrated can help your body reduce some of that edema. If you can, move gently. So when you are doing things that are physical activity, good movement that's not hurting your joints, that helps not only your circulation, but also your lymphatic fluids just move around in your body, which can also help with edema. Some people benefit just comfort-wise from using things like compression socks so that they don't feel as though it's actually causing pain. And lifting your legs up can help some of that fluid come back down. So there's a lot of things to do. In terms of food, going to the unprocessed things is the best because then you're also getting those other electrolytes that help keep our water balance in the right place, like potassium and magnesium.
Oh, such good points. Such good points. And to listeners, don't get disheartened because even if you're doing all the right things, sometimes it's still happening.
Yeah.
And I'm proof of that. And so keep trying. Don't give up. Hopefully it's going to get back under control eventually. Hey, listeners, are you living with a chronic illness and want to make your voice heard? Rare Patient Voice connects patients and caregivers with research opportunities so you can share your experiences and get paid for your time. Your insights help drive real change in healthcare. So sign up today using the link in our show notes and start making an impact.
Yeah. And please bring it up to your doctor too, just as you did of like, hey, I'm trying this medication, but these side effects are not working for me. And there may be another approach.
And keep in mind, during the warmer months, sometimes we swell more, sometimes there's more fluid. It's just part of it. We're more active and maybe we're doing activities we're not used to doing. And so bodies might get angry. And that's just, it's not okay. I was about to say it's okay. It's not okay, but it is something we just have to manage the best that we can.
And I think that's where people get really frustrated because we want our bodies to be really predictable. And that's certainly how I try to help my clients of, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z that we talked about that we already know helps you, then you do get a little bit more of that predictability. But at the end of the day, we are not robots. We have hormones, seasons change, schedules change, your food changes. There's so many different factors, unfortunately, that while it may seem frustrating, that's unpredictable, if you are monitoring and paying attention, each change is a learning opportunity of, that's how my body reacts to this. And eventually you do get to the place where you can learn enough about how your body functions that you can kind of get the hang of it.
Absolutely. Now, as a dietitian living with lupus, what especially do you find surprising or even challenging about applying what you already know with your own body?
I guess surprising was when I was first diagnosed. I was already a registered dietitian and I thought, I'm eating pretty healthy, but clearly it's not working because I'm having all these flares and I just got diagnosed with something new. So then I realized, okay, well, clearly generally healthy is just not cutting it for me. So I'm going to put all my focus on what is specifically healthy for lupus. What research exists that's specific to this autoimmune corner of the nutrition world. And so that was a little surprising at the beginning, but I feel like happy that I know my body really well. I have figured out those changes that really make a big difference. I think sometimes people feel really at war with their body because of the unpredictability. Like, I did all the right things. Why am I flaring? And so that's another place I really help my clients of like, okay, let's figure out truly the right things for you so that you can be aligned with your body, that you're supporting the reduction of the inflammation and really kind of working together because you only have one. We don't get to get another body.
Absolutely. So your your method is deeply holistic. So you weave together diet, sleep, stress, movement, all the really important things, along with joy and your self relationship. Can you walk us through how you support someone in addressing all of these layers?
Yes, totally. Well, it's bit by bit. So we can't address everything all at once.
Exactly.
Usually with everyone that I work with, and it depends on the person too. So I will say the vast majority of the people, we do diet first because so many people notice such an uptick in their energy and a reduction in joint pain, other symptoms when we change the diet. So that's the first thing that we address because it buys us more spoons, more energy, more motivation, more capability, less brain fog to implement the other things. But I will say for some people, maybe one of those, the other components of like a holistic body change is so out of whack that we have to address that first. But usually it's diet. And then we add in something like gentle movement, walking, that exercise component, because it also improves the quality of our sleep so much, but very gently and very piecemeal with the increasing exercise. I'm sure that you felt this way and heard it from so many other people. Sometimes people get really gung ho. Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I'm going to go on a 10-mile hike. I'm going to go back to that class, that like CrossFit class that I haven't been. Yes. And so we taper it up, not just all in. Then, of course, it depends again on the person. Everyone's different. And so I personalize the approach because some people really need to think about their environment first. Some people really need to work on boundaries. And that can be at the beginning too of, hey, we have to say no to some of these demands so that you have the time for yourself. So it's a lot of things. I try as best as I can to meet people where they are because the more personalized it is to their journey, the better success they're going to have. So there's not a formula that works for everyone, and that's okay.
How do you approach healthy sleep hygiene?
There's a lot of suggestions that I have. I'm happy to go into at least the first couple. So one, the room, well, your habits before bed. So we should not be scrolling on social media. It is, especially something like TikTok, can go from a happy, funny video to something really, really
Dark?
heavy. Yeah, heavy, dark, a piece of news that you just weren't prepared for. So it is too much of an emotional roller coaster. Also, the blue light from our phones tell our body, hey, wake up, stay awake. It's the middle of the day. You need to be alert. And all of that is adding to kind of a fight or flight response that we don't need before bed. So definitely social media, TV, any sort of electronics, we want to turn off a good amount of time before bedtime. If people aren't into reading a book, maybe just do something quiet, like take a shower, listen to some nice music, journal. I mean, we can go as far into meditation and deep breathing as people want to, but it definitely needs to be activities that help things go down in terms of like, okay, I can relax. My nervous system can take a break. I'm not on high alert. The other things are setting up your sleep environment. So we want it to be dark. We want it to be cool. Of course, we want it to be comfortable. This one's really hard for people, but sometimes we got to get the pets out of the bedroom. They can be really disturbing. And a lot of people are like, no, don't make me lock out my kitty or my doggy. But then they're also waking up at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m with the dog on their face or the cat going like this at their feet. And so you're missing out on really deep quality sleep, and your pet will still love you so very much. They might just need to sleep somewhere else in the house.
Absolutely. And sometimes they don't actually want to sleep with you anyway. I have 2 cats, and sometimes they insist on being with us, but they're older. And so one likes to lay on a pillow behind my head so that she can drape her paws on my shoulder. Doesn't bother me, doesn't wake me up. It's very odd. And then the other cat sleeps with pillows around her. She's like in this circle in between my husband and I by the pillows, and she just sleeps there. The disturbing thing is if they get up to use the cat, which, animals do. But I think, if you have an elderly cat that's just going to sleep, that's one thing. But if you have a dog that needs to get up and go out, if you have a kitten that's hyper. They're going to be playing with all the things in your room. Come on.
And it's totally fine, seriously, if the pet isn't disturbing you. But if you are waking frequently, that's when it's not helpful.
It's time to go.
Yeah.
They need their own space, maybe their own room. So you emphasize that you are the expert in your body. So how do you help clients learn to listen to trust their own lived experience, especially when it may go against popular advice?
Yeah, this is so important. So, how I help my clients is one, we have food and mood and symptom journals. I don't insist that everyone fill it out every bite of their day or every moment of their day, but those check ins, and some people love it and some people use it kind of, okay, I'm going to do 3 days at a time and just really focus in on my body. But those are a great opportunity to check in. How do I feel after this meal? What's my energy been looking like? What's my joint pain been looking like? And again, some people do it for every day and they feel like it's such a great practice to be in tune with their body. And some people want to do, okay, let's say the first month I'm going to do it 3 days. A month from now, I'm going to do it 3 days. A month from now, again, I'll do it another 3 days. But it's amazing to see the data points of, yeah, I was a 9 out of 10 in my joint pain. And now I'm at a 5 out of 10. And now I'm at a 1 out of 10. And having that data point, it's really hard to remember these things. Like, well, my joint pain's a lot better, but to note when it happened and in response to what changes really helps you connect with your body. And honestly, let's all kind of reflect on a journey with autoimmune. Sometimes just to get through the day because of joint pain or fatigue, we kind of distance ourselves and just say, I can't deal with the joint pain right now. I have to go to work. I have to pick up my kids, whatever it may be. So sometimes as a protective habit, we've set aside checking in our body. So I do want people to reconnect, to trust in their expertise, because I can't feel what's going on in their body. And if you take the time to settle in, you can become the expert. Everyone is the expert. It's just how much they've been tuning in or not.
Yes. All right. Now we're going to shift a little bit.
Okay.
Eliminating your own flares is such a triumph. What were the first practical shifts that you made in your diet or lifestyle that really made you feel like you were seeing relief?
Yeah, definitely. So diet was one big thing. I tried a lot of things. Another thing that was really big for me was understanding, okay, rest has to take a priority. I need to go to bed earlier. I need to make sure that I'm getting in good quality sleep and to be more gentle with my exercise. Especially, I had just never had lupus flares before. I'd had flares of other autoimmune diseases, and that was a different approach. I had to take in more rest, more relaxation, and then more autoimmune, anti-inflammatory foods for that autoimmune flare. So it was different despite living with other autoimmune diseases for years and years before that.
Did you start to notice what triggers your inflammation?
Yeah, definitely. Which was, again, kind of building that toolkit of, okay, this is how my fantastic, amazing, sometimes confusing body works. And now, because I've helped so many other people, I can kind of have a collection of, well, you present with these sorts of symptoms. This is what your labs look like. This is the pathway that's probably going to help you the most, which is really cool.
What are your personal biggest triggers?
I mean, this one actually applies to a lot of people. If I get sick, like an infection or my body's already fighting something else, that's when I know, okay, it's time to go into like R&R mode of I need to prioritize rest. I need to prioritize anti-inflammatory foods. We're going to take a break on exercise. My goals for those other parts of my life, like maybe strength training or getting in more cardio, they just have to be on pause. And that's okay. Like I am still doing a fantastic job of being healthy by kind of turning down the volume knob on all of those activities.
And it doesn't mean you're not going to go back to doing them again.
No, of course not.
Never stop as a pause.
Yes. And I'm going to feel so much better, so much faster if I just stop, let my body recover, and then I can get back to the other things. I think that's a really tough thing for so many people is the acceptance, the unfortunate acceptance that with any sort of chronic disease means that we, again, are not robots. We cannot just push through. It doesn't work. Our bodies aren't like that.
We have a limit. And I think we talked about this a few months ago when we were in person, but I used to be an Apple Watch wearer forever. And all of a sudden one day, my husband before Christmas was like, I've been reading up on these Aura rings and they're supposed to be more accurate. I think I talked with you about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we were passing our rings around because a few of us had them. And one thing that I love about it, and I tell people this all the time, and no, I don't have like a link or an affiliate or anything with Aura. I'm not trying to like push this to make money. So listeners, chill.
That's your personal experience.
But I love it. And here's why. The biggest reason I recommend it to people is in the app, it takes and correlates all of my stuff together. And it's, it's tracking your activity, your sleep, all of it. It pops up and tells me when I'm getting run down and that I need to slow down. It'll even say, you might not want to work out today. Some things, how does it phrase it? It says something is like affecting my body at that moment and making me weaker. It's better phrasing than what I'm saying, but that's basically what it's saying to me. And I'll tell you what I've noticed is every time this pops up on my app, I'm about to get sick with some kind of infection or I'm about to flare or both. I kid you not, every time it pops up, I've gotten tonsillitis or a sinus infection or something like that every single time. And so I love that thing.
Living with a rare disease or chronic illness can feel isolating, but you are not alone. Find Your Rare is more than just a brand. It's a movement. From empowering apparel to real, raw conversations, they're here to remind you that your story matters. Because being rare, it's your superpower. Explore, join, and wear your rare with pride at findyourrare.com.
Yeah, well, that's great. And now perhaps also it's giving you the awareness of, oh, yeah, I have
Slow
been
down.
a little strange, or I have been feeling a little run down, whatever it may be. You can also predict with your body.
Yeah. So it's really just a helpful tool. And I know there's more things out there that help with that than Aura. I just love how it pops that up and says, something's off, slow down. And so I think that's a healthy reminder. And if there's something out there that works for people, utilize it because there are things that are warning signs and, pay attention to your body because your body's trying to give you warning signs too. We just live in a society where we feel like we have to push and push and push and do all the things and then sleep for 4 hours and get up and do it again. And that's not healthy.
No, not at all. And unfortunately, what I've had to tell people, even that are clients of mine that don't have autoimmune disease, that have found me because of just wanting nutrition advice for other reasons, is that is unreasonable and unsustainable for everyone. That there is a hitting the wall point, no matter if you're the healthiest person in the world. People that are extreme athletes also can push themselves too hard. So listen to your body. You are the expert in your body. You just have to listen.
Absolutely. I wish Andy were here. I don't think you've met one of my co-hosts before, but she's written a book called Redefining Fine. And one thing she talks about all the time is how she walked around telling everyone she was fine. And she was working hard and doing all the things. And she had a job that was super secretive for various reasons. She wasn't allowed to talk about it. And she went to work one day and she died for 38 minutes. She had a heart attack.
Wow.
And that morning she told her family she was fine when she'd been crying in her closet.
Yeah, that's not
okay. And that's not the reminder we need. We need to get there before that reminder. And that's what her whole thing is about, is telling people, redefine your fine, slow the heck down, listen to your body. I wish you were here to talk to you and listen to you, but she's, doing the things. So it's just us today. But my next thing, so we're shifting again. What advice would you give to someone who feels limited by finances, like food access or cultural norms, yet wants to prioritize their health amidst those challenges? Because it can be tough. Eating healthy is not cheap.
It's not. I always tell people it's not if you are looking for prepared foods. So it's the equation. So you either have to give time. So you can use very, very cheap ingredients and make delicious foods that are super healthy, or money. No, but you can do it on a budget for sure. So for example, something like dried beans are so healthy for us and dirt cheap, but it does require time. So you need to soak the beans the night before, but then you can put them in something like a slow cooker, a pressure cooker. So it doesn't require your energy necessarily, but time. And so a lot of people may not be super comfortable in the kitchen or just haven't grown up with doing these sorts of things. But I do promise there is a budget friendly way to eat healthy. It just does require a little bit more know-how.
Yeah. And like you said, beans is a really good example. And if you have a space to grow your own vegetables, that helps too.
That's amazing. Or eating seasonally, like things in season are always going to be locally in season to where you live, way cheaper at the grocery store. Taking advantage of the sales on things and then freezing it. So there's a lot of different things that I tell people. And one of the modules in my program is healthy eating on a budget, because who wants to spend more money than you need to on groceries when you can eat healthy very affordably?
Nobody. Who wants to go to the grocery store? And I think we're all guilty of this. You feel like you have a very small cart or basket full of things, and you get up there and you check out and it's like $70.
Yes.
And you're looking at
someone just told me that earlier this week and literally used the exact same dollar amount. They said $70. True.
It is true. You know, my husband and I look at each other and we're like, we didn't buy laundry detergent. We didn't buy toilet paper. We didn't buy a ton of meat. Like, what in the world did we just do? It was a bunch of, miscellaneous like avocados and onions and potatoes, all the things, but it adds up. And then you start adding in eggs, which eggs have been astronomical lately to people. You add in milk, and before you know it, $70.
Yes, definitely. And so that's where we can take advantage of, let's say, local farmers markets during the seasons, sales for sure. Also, international grocery stores sometimes have fantastic deals on things. So, but all of this requires figuring it out and having these tips and tricks. So I am not saying anyone out there that's struggling with their grocery bill, oh, well, you're just not doing it right. It's hard to do it right, but it is possible. It is 100%.
And you can definitely walk them through all the tips, which is great. And like you said, sometimes it takes searching the right grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we don't have those available, but just do what you can. Buy the beans.
Yes, there's lots of tricks and tips that I share with my clients about how to make it work.
Your outreach and your coaching, they've offered so much hope to people living with lupus and even other conditions. Is there a story or a moment that stands out where you felt you made a meaningful impact on someone's life?
Honestly, it happens all the time. And it literally is fuel for my passion. Every single time that I have someone even just comment on something that I posted, like, oh my gosh, this helped me so much. And that's like the smallest contribution versus my clients that I help over the course of months, and they're able to have a pregnancy that they weren't sure that they were going to be able to do safely, or they feel great and accept a promotion, or they notice, okay, I'm able to get back into the gym. Like literally any type of success just makes me feel like absolutely every moment of hard work is absolutely worth it. Like I would trade nothing for the career that I'm in, for the passion that I bring to the autoimmune community, because I feel like I'm making such a meaningful difference and it's just worth every moment.
Those are the careers that everyone deserves.
Definitely.
We need those feel-good moments where your cup is filled, maybe even some tears, because it makes the difficult times in life feel so much better.
Yes.
There's no words to explain how good it feels when you get that message. And I don't know if you're like me, but I start tearing up.
Yeah, I do too. Anytime that I get good news from someone, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy for you. Yes, the tears.
This is why I do what I do. What sustaining words of encouragement or even mindset shifts do you hold on to help stay hopeful and empowered on the toughest of days?
I tell this to everyone. I don't know who said it first or if it's just one of those things that existed, but progress, not perfection. Yes, because so many of us are either holding ourselves back from trying something new because I'm worried I won't be good at it, or feeling defeated if it doesn't come out perfectly. And it is such a fantastic reminder to everyone in the world. Literally, no one is perfect. That is impossible. That never happens. The world is such a chaotic place. All we want to do is have progress. I want you to feel a bit better. I want you to be able to do more that you want to do, to feel healthier, to feel happier. Like we just want to do the progress. And I think so many people, unfortunately, maybe sabotage themselves or just feel defeated when it's not perfect. And that is just, let's throw it away. The whole concept of it. I think for everyone out there, I want them to remember those sorts of big picture ideas. So one, trust in your body. Try to have a good relationship with it. Unfortunately, it is the only one that you're going to get. And there is a lot of grief in being diagnosed with a chronic disease. So work through that. Hopefully you have support, but having that good relationship with your body, however you can get there, it really helps. And then, yes, remember that progress, not perfection. So take it day by day. Try not to beat yourself up too much because you're already, like, let's say if we were all just walking a mile, there's some people that have the most advantages. Maybe they've been training their whole life. They have no health problems. They've got like the bouncy shoes. This is just an analogy for life. And for us with autoimmune diseases, we've got kind of a weighted vest and maybe a back and a part-time job of going to doctor's appointments. So don't feel as though you have to walk this mile as fast as everybody else. You're walking the mile. That's the most important thing. Like you are still doing the thing, and give yourself grace and to not feel like I have to compare myself to other people that don't have all of the challenges that we're living with.
This was such a joy.
Thank you. It was so nice to speak with you. For all the listeners, please, if you're interested in help, reach out to me. Jen's going to put in my website and my Instagram. I'm basically the Lupus Dietitian everywhere that you can find me. And if you're thinking about changing your diet, changing your lifestyle, you want to improve how you feel, please be in contact.
Please do, because she's such a joy. You're going to feel so good talking to her, and I promise you're going to have some fun too.
I'm fun sometimes.
You are. I think you're a blast. I hope and cannot wait to see you in person again because I just love you to pieces. And we had so much fun.
It was.
And not only that, but I get to keep you because we have a book club now too.
Definitely.
Tanya, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your heart, and hope with us today. Listeners, remember that small steps can spark big change. And you deserve a life that feels nourishing in every single way. So be sure to reach out to Tanya because she's going to change your life.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jen. It has been such a pleasure, and I can't wait for the next time we can see each other in person.
Listeners, until next time, don't forget your spoon.
All guests featured or mentioned in this podcast will be listed for your convenience. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to My Spoonie Sisters and follow My Spoonie Sisters on Instagram for updates on new episodes and more. We eagerly look forward to speaking and hearing from all our Spoonies. Disclaimer: while we are not doctors or healthcare practitioners, we want to assure you that this podcast is a credible source of information. It's based on our guests' personal experiences and the strategies we've found effective for ourselves. However, everyone's body is unique, and what works for one person may not work for another. If you have any health-related questions, it's always best to consult your primary doctor or rheumatologist. Remember, our goal at My Spoonie Sisters is to connect people and provide them with the support and tools they need to live better lives.